Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer. Today I'm going to be reviewing Daredevil the Man Without Fear because the Daredevil TV show is coming out soon. I cannot wait for it, so I decided to do a review on the book that the show is loosely based off of. Now, last time I said that my next review was going to be The Death of Wolverine, but I forgot all about Daredevil, so sorry about that. The Death of Wolverine will be my next review, though, I promise. But yeah, spoilers for this book. If you have not read it, spoiler alert, steer clear if you are worried about spoilers for this book. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, this book opens up showing us that Matt Murdock is the perfect child, according to his dad. From his dad's perspective, he's the perfect kid, while all the other kids are going out and causing mischief and just doing all this stuff, sneaking out at night. Matt Murdock is being a good old kid and staying in his bedroom and studying. Well, that's not the case. He's actually sneaking out, doing everything those kids are doing and more. For instance, he put a mask on and stole a policeman's baton, well, nightstick, and he takes that baton and goes and hides it in a gym. The gym where he loves to hang out at, and that's where his dad trains because his dad is a boxer. His dad is battling Jack Murdock, and he's a big-time boxer. And Matt and Jack have a really cool, interesting relationship. Like, Jack Murdock is just trying to be the good dad for his son. He's fallen on hard times because Matt's mother, something happened to her. She's no longer around, and he's also fallen on hard times with the mob. The mob is not good for Jack. The mob is, he's like in debt with the mob, so the mob says, hey, you're going to be our enforcers because, you know, you're a big boxer guy, so you go around, beat people up until they give us money, and that's what you're going to do, otherwise we're going to harm you and your son, and he doesn't want that. Also, this is a way for him to put food on the table for his son, because pretty much everything we see Jack Murdock do in this book is to protect his son or to like bring food to him, just to take care of his son. And I really like seeing that. You really do get the sense that Jack Murdock loves his son, and I love seeing that. That being said, though, Jack Murdock does do something pretty bad. What happens is Matt Murdock comes home and says, hey, Dad, I beat up that one bully. And his dad's like, I told you not to do that. And he just backhands him. Matt leaves. Now, the reason Jack did this is because Jack does not want his son to be anything like him. Because when Matt does it, he's like, I just did it. I nailed this kid. I did it like you would have done if you were in my position. He's like, yeah, I would have. And he hits him because Jack does not want him to be what he is. He hates what he is, and he does not want Matt to turn out like him. And yeah, so Matt runs away, and he realizes all this stuff. He's like, without rules, people can do whatever they want. Rules are the only thing that limit people and stop them from becoming bad people. So he decides to invest himself into the law and study the law in and out. And that's really what drives him to become a lawyer. As we see later on, he's a great lawyer. And this is where it all started. So after this, when Matt is being picked on, he doesn't fight back at all because that's against the rules, and he does not believe in that now because he's a big believer now in following the law. That's what needs to be done. Follow the rules, and everything will be good. And yeah, he gets the tar beaten out of him day in and day out at school, so it's not very good for him, but he loves going to the gym still. He goes, he trains, he loves it. That's his place. Well, one day, while he was walking on the street, the blind man got in the middle of the street. He saved the blind man from getting hit by a truck, but in turn, a bunch of chemicals came off this truck and hit him in the face, and so he's blind. Everyone knows Daredevil's origin story. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people do, and that's how he became blind. And then we see Stick approach him. Stick is this guy that has been monitoring him this whole time. He's just been watching him like, this kid's got potential, and he's waiting for like his destiny to happen, as like Frank Miller said in the book, and I guess him being blind is his destiny. So his destiny happens, Stick trains him, Stick tells him all about how to see when you're blind, sort of, like use your senses, and it's really cool. I loved it. Frank Miller did a great job showing us how Daredevil sort of sees, like how he does things. How I imagine it is sort of like a fog. Like when a fog, nothing's moving, it's fine, but when someone moves, you can see that shape. It takes a form, and that's sort of the image that Frank Miller gives us, and it's really cool. It's awesome. I love how he tells us how Daredevil sees. I love seeing that, and that was really cool. But then the book switches over to battling Jack Murdock, who has been on a streak lately. He's a big-time boxer now. But then the mob pulls up to him and is like, hey, we kind of told all those guys to take a fall, so that way now when you take a fall, we'll make a ton of money. You're taking a fall tonight, otherwise, you know, things aren't going to be so good for you. So he's fighting, and he's like, screw it, I'm not going to take a fall, I'm not going to do this in front of my kid, I'm going to set a good example, don't give up, because Matt is right there in the audience. So he ends up winning the fight, and after the fight, when he goes into an alley, he gets killed by a bunch of mobsters. There's like 4 or 5 guys, and Matt is just really awestruck about it. He's just not happy, and he's just terrified, and so he decides to go on a big revenge streak. He dresses up, and he beats up a ton of guys. Like, it's brutal and it's awesome. I love seeing him go on this huge revenge streak. And then the revenge streak kind of ends when he, well, with the last guy, when he kills a hooker, because there's one guy's at a brothel or some place like that, and he's beating people up, and then he accidentally elbows a hooker out of a window, and yeah, he killed someone. That was his first life taken, and he didn't mean to, and that's another thing that contributes to him being like, follow the law, because he's like, crap. You know, I went all loose cannon, I wasn't following the law, and look what happened, I took a life, and I didn't mean to. And so this was a big scarring event for him that does play out through the rest of the book. And then after all that, Stick leaves him alone. Stick's just like, yeah, this guy's too much of a loose cannon. He just not know how to control his emotions. That's not good. I don't want anything to do with him. So Stick does not train him anymore. But Matt Murdock does go to college. He goes to law school. And there he meets someone named Electra, who we all know. And Electra has a big effect on him. Like, he meets Electra when he's out one night just doing his whole sort of Daredevil thing. He's just like, you know, parkouring on roofs as you do, and then he runs into Electra. He chases her, and then he loses her. All he sees is a trail of clothes, and then police pull up and like, hey, who's this pervert in the park with a bunch of women's clothes? And so they arrest him, and then they find out, oh, he's a blind guy. He didn't really know what was going on, and so they just release him, and Electra obviously got away. So from this point on, he is obsessed with Electra. He's just like, who is this woman that I met on the rooftops, and then she just set me up to get arrested? What is going on? Who is she? So fucking Nelson, his roommate in college, tells him it's Electra. She's the daughter of a rich man, someone you really don't want to mess with. So Matt Murdock's just like, screw it, and he goes there. He goes to her mansion that's heavily guarded, and he ends up screwing up, falling through like a glass ceiling, getting shot, and then he goes back to his college dorm, and he digs the bullet out, and then he finds Electra in his shower. They hook up, and then they're like sort of soulmates-ish. They're together for a while, and they both, like, we get to see some stuff from Electra's perspective. Electra's like, I feel alive with him. I love being with him. It's different than when I'm with anyone else. And Daredevil feels the exact same way. He absolutely loves Electra, and he does not want to lose her. Then we see a sort of trip where we follow Electra, and she is crazy. She goes out at night, intentionally gets predators on her, goes into an alley where they're gonna rape her, but she kind of just takes her clothes off and then murders everyone. Because, you know, what else is a girl gonna do on a Saturday night? But that's what she does. And it's pretty insane. I didn't really care for the direction Frank Miller took Electra. He's always been a little weird with female characters, and this was kind of a little weird. Like, it was, you know, kind of brutal. She just murdered all these people. Not saying they didn't have it coming, but the fact that she did it intentionally, she intentionally got these people to follow her into the alley just so she could slaughter them, that's a little brutal. And so later she tells Matt Murdock, and he's just like, nah, I know you wouldn't do that. So she just tells him that while they're hanging out. He completely denies it, thinks she's lying, and then she tells him she has to go, and she just runs away. And then Matt's just like, well, see what it gets me when I don't follow the law, because, you know, he's breaking the law. He was living on the edge with her, and then she just leaves, and his heart breaks, and he does not like that, so he's like, you know, need to stick to the law, another thing that adds to it. Also, we don't see Electra for the rest of the book. She's just gone. When she takes off on the plane, she is never seen again. Also, prior to her leaving, Stick had shown up in his dorm room randomly one night and said, hey, stay away from Electra, she's bad news. But obviously, Matt did not care. She was the one person that was like him, a kindred spirit, so he kept with her. But then in the end, that bit him in the butt because she just left, and it left him heartbroken. Now we see some new stuff take place in the underworld of New York. The Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, takes over. He kills the leader, and he takes over. He's like, I'm running the show now. So what he does is he sells children. That's literally what he does. That's his plan to make a lot of money. He just captures kids and then he sells them. That's what he does because he's the Kingpin. But then we switch back to Matt Murdock, and he's out of college. He's in New York. He's got a job at a law firm that he does not like, but he decides, hey, I'm in New York. Let's go to Hell's Kitchen and go to that gym that I really loved. So he goes there, breaks in, and because, you know, the gym shut down, and he sees a girl there named Mickey. She's a 14-year-old girl, and they decide, hey, let's train together because, you know, we both like this gym. Now, Mickey does not get any character development at all. She reminds me of Robin from Dark Knight Returns because Frank Miller did the same thing with her. No character development at all. They're just used for, like, plot purposes. There's just no character development at all. She's just there. Same with Robin in Dark Knight Returns. Frank Miller does the same thing with Mickey in this. She's just there. There's no character development at all, and I mean at all. So yeah, they decide to train together every night at the gym, meet there all the time. But then that sort of gets slowed down a little bit because of Foggy Nelson, his old college roommate. He tries to help him with his lawyer job because Matt Murdock currently hates his job because he's not working with people, whereas Foggy Nelson is constantly working with people. So he decides to help him, which means less nights with Mickey at the gym. But Matt gets a call from his workplace telling him, hey, you need to go to Boston for this thing. And he's like, okay, first I'm going to go and check on Mickey at the gym because I haven't seen her in a while. So he drops by the gym and sees she's gone. Her hat's there, and he sees her address on the back. So he follows her address, goes there, and he sees her parents are on the phone with some criminal guy, and they're saying, hey, we got your kid, we, want a ransom, you give us this money, drop it off here, and we will give you your kid. So Daredevil's like, yeah, I grew up in Hell's Kitchen, I know not to do that, but he doesn't interfere. He decides to go and just follow the dad to the drop-off point. So he follows the dad to the drop-off point, and he sees the guy who takes the money, he follows him. That guy goes to his apartment to where he gets killed by Wilson Fisk, well, Kingpin's right-hand man, because what happened was Kingpin used this guy to get some kids, and this guy failed at his job. He's supposed to get a 12-year-old or 12-year-old or younger, whereas Mickey is 14, so he failed, and he was planning on giving her up for ransom to take the money for himself and just do it right under the Kingpin's nose. So Kingpin's right-hand man came, kill him, takes Mickey, and then he goes off. Well, first he has an encounter with Daredevil because Daredevil gets spotted when he's trying to be all sneaky-like, and Daredevil's able to dodge the bullets, runs away, and that's the end of that. But Daredevil is able to follow them to these docks where these warehouses are at, and it's really cool what he does next. He just does a bunch of stealth stuff to take people out. The art looks really cool. It's awesome seeing him take out all these people, and then he causes a ruckus. And yeah, everything goes to crap, like explosions happen, it's not very silent anymore. Because of all of the explosions, the police come. This draws attention to Daredevil. Daredevil gets arrested by the police. He decides to go willingly because, follow the law. That's been a big thing of his, even though he's a vigilante. And so he goes with them. Then he hears Mickey crying out for help. He decides to crash the cop car because, yeah, that's his way of breaking out. He takes the cop car, chases Kingpin's right-hand man to get Mickey, and then it ends in a doorway. So Daredevil's in this doorway, and he's got a hostage situation. Kingpin's right-hand man has a gun to Mickey's head, and he's just, like, telling him, I don't want to kill you, I don't want to have to kill you. And this guy's like, just shut up, I've got the advantage, you don't. And he's just looking at him, he's like, I don't want to kill you. And he's telling him that the whole time. And then Kingpin's right-hand man shoots him, he blocks the bullet with the nightstick. I forgot to mention that earlier. He did take the nightstick from the gym that he had stolen when he was a kid, and that's what he's using right now. But the guy decides to shoot another bullet. Daredevil blocks it, this time back straight into the guy's head, which kills him and frees Mickey. And that's the end of that adventure. After that, we see that Daredevil, well, Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson start their own law firm with a loan from Foggy's dad. And also we see that they're like, how do we name the law firm? They flip a coin for whose name comes first. And it lands, well, before it lands, Stick catches it, his old training buddy. And he goes and he like gives him the quarterback. And he's like, that guy's name goes first. Don't be too cocky, kid. And it was really cool seeing that. And then the book ends with Daredevil in his Daredevil suit, which was really cool. But yeah, that is the end of the book. So I really did enjoy this book. It's really good. If you find yourself enjoying the Daredevil TV show or you want to know more before it comes out, I highly recommend this. It's basically year one for Daredevil, and it's awesome. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's really good. I didn't care for the fact that there was no character development for Mickey and the fact that Electra was a little bit too murderous for my taste. But yeah, overall, I did like it. The art was pretty good. It's John Romita Jr., so you know what you're going to get. It's really good when like there's people with masks. People's faces are good sometimes and other times are like alright. It just depends what you think of John Romita Jr.'s style. He definitely has a unique style, and Frank Miller does a good job and doesn't throw too much Frank Miller into the book. He does the good Frank Miller, the year one Frank Miller, and yeah, I really did enjoy this book and I highly recommend you check it out.